Welcome, everybody, to the Lowdown on Ridertown with the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders, 98.1 KHAK, 94.1 KRNA in the Union Station. This is our 10th and final show of the year. It is the finale. Hard to think of it, but we started, I think our first show was January 16th, and here we are on Tuesday, April 10th. So we've done this throughout the winter, and want to thank all of you first and foremost for coming out each and every week. Great fan support. We have great crowds. The Union Station gives us a great space to do it each and every week. I want to thank Coach and the players for making the time for us, and I want to bookend our show tonight with thank yous because this show is really powered by a lot of people chipping in. I want to thank the Rough Riders and the Rough Riders staff for setting up our audio, for getting everything going and ready to roll each and every week. As I mentioned, Coach Carlson and the players for showing up, Rick Boots Photography for taking the photos for us, of course the Union Station, as I mentioned, for giving us such a great space, and of course the housing families for all that insider information. We've had quite a few fun shows, and the guys are in for some grilling tonight. Not too bad, but I got a little, I always get my emails that come through. Coach, you know what I'm talking about with these, yeah. So we'll get into the questions with the guys in just a few minutes, but want to once again remind everyone that the last two shows that we've done, March 20th and the 27th. The audio from those was just uploaded this past weekend. I think I saw on the Riders Facebook page that they just shared those a few days ago. So if you want to catch the audio from March 20th and 27th, you can check those out. Also, the drawing for that team autograph jersey is happening tonight. We've had signups for that throughout the year. I think you still might have a chance in the back to get your name in the box tonight, but we'll draw that as the show wraps up. On the show tonight, joined by head coach Mark Carlson, but also by players Liam Walsh and Jason Poland. Broke out the flowered floral blazer for our finale tonight, and I'm trying to figure out another event that I can break this out in, but for now, this is the first time this has graced the public's eye, so feel privileged. This is getting broken out for a Lowdown on Ridertown. Might be the one and only time I wear this. We'll figure it out. Maybe I'll break it out at a Riders game sometime or something, but we'll get into the questions for the guys, and Coach, I'll start with you. Ask you a little something hockey-related. 3 straight wins for this team, and obviously kind of on a bit of a roll. Do you feel a lot of momentum building? I know you guys are in the playoff stretch here. You guys are in the heat of the season, only a few games left. Well,
we feel like we've been getting better all year, and we're fortunate to get some guys back in the lineup this past weekend, although not everybody, and but it certainly has helped us, and we've got to have a good week of practice this week and get ready for the weekend.
Now, we got quite a few questions tonight, so guys, I'll get right into it to you as players. Your bios, as we ask every player when they come on the show. Jason, I'll start with you. Tell us where you're from and your journey to get here to Cedar Rapids. How'd you wind up with the Rough Riders?
I'm from Holt, Michigan, and I grew up playing Detroit AAA, and I played for Victory Honda my midget minor year, and I was lucky enough to get drafted here and came to the camps and made the team.
Liam, how about you? Where are you from, and how'd you wind up here in Cedar Rapids?
I'm from Bridgeville, Pennsylvania, and I played for Pittsburgh Penguins Elite growing up, and then my midget minor year, I played for Victory Honda out of Detroit, Michigan, and then I was lucky enough to sign a tender here, so I've been here ever since.
Now, what really started your love for the game of hockey, Liam? I'll ask you first.
My brother played, so just always being around the rink, and then the Penguins kind of turning things around in Pittsburgh, so the city just loved hockey. So,
Jason, how about you? What kind of started your game off or your love for hockey?
Kind of the same thing. My brother and actually my sister both played growing up, and then my dad started building a rink in my backyard, so that's how I got into hockey.
Coach, I wonder if, as always, if you could tell us a little bit about each of those guys and what influenced you to bring them on board on the squad.
Yeah, sure. Well, they both, as I mentioned, both played for Victory Honda, and our staff was able to get out and watch the guys play, and we, as they said, we drafted Jason, and then Walsh came in and took a visit here, and we tendered him when he was a real youngster, and he's a seasoned veteran now, and he's heard every story and every line that I have, so because he's been here for a bit, but it's all good, and both these guys are really improving, and we're looking for good things from them this weekend.
Liam, that's a good segue into a question I had for you. You're one of the veterans on this team, 3rd season with the Rough Riders. I think we're used to a lot of players coming in for maybe a year or two, and then they progress on. There have been a few players who have been 4 years. What's it been like to be on this team and grow throughout the years on the Rough Riders?
It's been good. I kind of remember being on this radio show my first first year, and just little things like growing this facial hair now, like just coming up on stage, like I just feel like just growing up with the Rough Riders. But it's definitely pretty cool to kind of be around for a bit, and a lot of guys ask me questions sometimes, like things about coach or I don't know, just little things. So I have a lot of answers because I've been around for a while.
Can you give us an idea of like a back and forth you had with a player who asked about coach, what it was and what you said?
Like, what do I think practice will be like that day, things like that.
Okay, I thought it was maybe something like dishing dirt on coach or something. No, it wasn't anything like that. Jason, in your case with progressing and moving on, you've committed to Western Michigan, correct, to play collegiate hockey. What went into that decision? What influenced you to go with Western Michigan?
I mean, I took a visit there, and after visiting the campus and meeting the coaching staff and the facilities, I just kind of fell in love there, so I thought it was the right fit for me.
Now, Coach, as far as player development is concerned, I think I read an article recently, and I think it was actually about Liam, where he said, some players make the mistake, you think they maybe leave a program like this too early and go into college, and it can kind of stunt their progress. What are your thoughts on players when they come in and development and knowing that a guy is at a right point or at a good time to move on to college hockey?
I think, our league is so competitive, each and every night, as our guys know from playing in it. And I've been fortunate, to be doing this for a while. And I just don't think you can ever play too long in this league because it's so challenging all the time. And I'm just a big believer, if you're talking about going from the USHL to college or from, the American League to the NHL or college to the NHL, that you really want to be sure that you're making a significant impact. Dominate is too strong of a word, but that you're making a real significant impact every night, and that there's 40 players or 42 players in a game usually, and that if you're going to move on to school, that you're in the top handful of players in those games consistently throughout the course of the year, and then that gives you a better chance to go into college and be a guy that's going to gain a lot of ice time and play, and all those things are relevant to developing to your potential.
Now, Coach, I'll leave it with you on this one because pretty impressive week for some former Rough Riders. We had Adam Gaudet win the Hobie Baker Award. That's the top player in college hockey. A round of applause for that as a former Rider. Then we have Scott Perunovich wins the Collegiate National Rookie of the Year, and he also happens to be on the national championship team. Another round of applause for that. And then to wrap everything up and bring it home literally, Reese Molek's coming back this weekend to be honored for winning the USHL's 2017 Kurt Hammer Award. So, Coach, I have to ask you with all that, your feelings as a coach. I know that one of the reasons why you've been in the USHL and you love the league and love this franchise is that you have the ability to develop players and watch them progress and move on and have success in other facets of life. What's it like when you even look past at just the past week and see the success bing, 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 bing like that with players?
Yeah, well, thanks, Coop. It's exciting, and it's one of the great things about, being fortunate to coach in the league. And we talk to our guys about these things all the time. And, Adam Gaudet was such a tenacious worker, and, no surprise with what he's been able to accomplish. And we've also have talked to our guys about Scotty Perunovich, and he's been right out front with that one where, Scotty and I had tons of conversations, and I feel comfortable saying, we, meaning he and I, we weren't sure if he was ready. And to his credit, he had a tremendous summer, really trained. He always had the talent, and I like to think he learned a lot last year and went in and has done a tremendous job. And what a year he's had. And I think he's got more things to come here with the NHL draft coming up. And Reese Molek was really the kind of the consummate Rough Rider. And I know that as an organization, and Tammy and I, Tammy heads up our community service, and couldn't have been prouder for Reese to win that Kurt Hammer Award because it kind of embodies the leadership on the ice and giving back to the community. And he was a tremendous captain for us, and just did a ton of community service and organized all the guys and just did a great job. So that was a really special night for him and for the whole organization there last weekend.
Now, Jason, I'll ask you, talking about player development, but also overcoming some adversity. I know you were injured, especially at the beginning of the year. What was it like to try to progress past that, get back in the roster, get back in the game, and deal with that?
It was pretty hard. It was kind of hard to breathe for 6 weeks. I had my mouth wired shut, and after coming back and have to do conditioning skating, it was pretty rough, but just had to get through it and just try and get my way back into the lineup.
Now, this is a question for further down the line, but we might as well just get into it right now since you brought it up. We're talking about injuries. As I heard that, we talk about nicknames a lot on the team, and so an email came through and said one of your main nickname is Jaw Son.
Yep.
You want to give us some background into that? I know it probably deals with the injury, right?
Yeah. I think it was Nick Granowitz or Liam. Both of them were trying to come up with a nickname for me, and all of a sudden Granowitz just said, "Oh, okay, Jawson." And from there it just exploded. Everyone on the team calls me that now. So,
Liam, you want to give us any background info on how you guys developed that, or is that pretty much sum it up?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. And I think Grano's a pretty smart kid, so he just came up with that, so it's pretty funny.
Coach, do you ever use this nickname, or has that been strictly a player thing?
Well, this is the first I've heard of it, so I'll use it tomorrow.
There you go. All right. Jason, it's going to be all over now. Now you can't run away from it. We have 2 upcoming games for the Rough Riders this weekend. They happen to be the final 2 games of the regular season, and they happen to both be at home, so that's a good thing. Friday against Des Moines, that's a player card giveaway night, and then Saturday against Madison, and that is fan appreciation night. Also, want to make note of something else very important. As many, if not all of you know in this room, the tragedy, the bus crash up in Canada last weekend that involved a junior hockey league team obviously hits close to home with the Rough Riders. Riders players will be at all Culver's locations, in Cedar Rapids, Hiawatha, and Marion tomorrow night from 4 to 8. So Culver's will donate 10% of all food sales to the Broncos GoFundMe account. So Riders will also collect monetary donations at that as well. So if you have a chance, hopefully you can get out to a Culver's location in either Cedar Rapids, Marion, or Hiawatha between 4 and 8 tomorrow and help out with that great cause. So before we get into the speed round with the players, always like to kind of tee this up by letting you know that these questions are pretty much a mixture of my research and then some emails that filter through from Tammy and from the housing families, and so we put it all together and we get this little speed round where we basically hit the guys with questions, and some of them are like kind of that intel from the housing family. So let's just start off by Jason. I'll start with you. Give us an idea of who you live with and what's it been like.
I live with the Fielders, and it's a new experience. They got children that are 12 and 8, and so it's pretty fun to hang out with them every day, and they kind of teach me how to be a good babysitter at times. But at the same time, like they respect my free time and like just leave me alone at times. But it's been fun, and like it's a great family to be with.
Liam, how about you? Who do you live with, and what's it been like?
I live with Gary and Ivy Rish, and it's my 3rd year, and they have a son too. He just moved out actually, so I feel like a babysitter sometimes. He's 24, but no, they're awesome. It's my 3rd year obviously, so it's just like a second home for me, so I couldn't ask for a better billet family.
And also, I think this might be a first, but if people, if you're sitting in the back of the room, kind of have like a mini shrine dedicated to you up here as well. People want to check that out.
Yeah, Gary always brings signs to the games with something about me, but yeah, he's one that says I have the perfect looks for radio, so.
That's a good line. It's a good one.
I guess so.
How about favorite housing family meal? Jason, I'll ask you for something you really look forward to.
Kristen makes this really good stuffed chicken. It's got like broccoli and other stuff in it, and it's really good.
Liam, how about you?
It used to be buffalo chicken pasta, but she started making this new pasta with like tomatoes and asparagus in it, so it's really good.
Yeah, sounds healthy too.
I'm always very healthy, so.
Okay, I might have a fact that refutes that. So I heard that you love cookie dough shakes. That doesn't sound as healthy.
No, they're pretty good, but I gave them up for Lent, so I had my first one since Lent last night, and I forgot how good they were.
What was that like?
It's pretty magical.
Pretty magical, yeah. Now, have you ever thought of just maybe to amp up the experience, like going a couple weeks without them, and then, like not even Lent related, but just to amplify the experience?
I just don't know if that would be possible, but I mean, they're pretty good. I try to take breaks from drinking them because they're, not the best, but every once in a while I'll have one.
Coach kind of gave him a side eye on that one. Have you heard about these milkshakes before?
I have not. I might have to stop by and have one.
Now, Jason, you like something, but I mean, it sounds healthier on the surface. Smoothies, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's getting some laughter, so you have to give us the background of that. What's the whole smoothie situation?
Well, when I had my broken jaw, there wasn't much I could eat. So I had about 5 or 6 smoothies a day. So I kind of got used to that.
Now, have you continued your love for them after you actually regain, like you can eat solid foods now?
Yeah, I can eat solid foods now, but I still get a smoothie every day.
And what is your favorite flavor? What's the go-to?
I get the peach fusion from Nutrisport.
Nutrisport seems to be popular among the players.
Yep.
You guys roll in like a crew?
Sometimes there'll be like six to eight of us at a time.
Wow.
So.
Do they know your guys' names now? Like, have you become household names?
Yeah, they know my order when I walk in.
You guys got it. Liam, we talked about Jason's nickname already. Do you have one on the squad that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I got some pretty good ones. One is me and TJ Walsh. I don't know if you've ever seen the show iCarly. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's a character named Gibby that walks around with his shirt off, and he's always holding a banana. So in Harry Potter, Flitwick, the little professor, that's TJ. So we go by Flitty and Gibby. And then a couple of weekends ago at the stable, somebody threw a piece of pepperoni on the ice during play. So I picked it up. I was like, what's this doing here? I was going to take it to the bench. And Matt Thompson thought it would be a great idea to start calling me Roni. So those two kind of stuck.
Okay, now those are good nicknames, and I like the stories, like the birth stories of how those happened. But also, I'll admit that when you were talking about that pepperoni, I thought you were going to say something like he dared you to eat it on the ice or something. That didn't happen. That didn't happen, right?
No, I did not eat the pepperoni.
All right, the pepperoni was disposed of, right? Coach,
can I weigh in on
yeah,
the pepperoni?
weigh in on this one.
So
Coach.
the pepperoni situation. So the game's going on. Plays going up and down the ice, and Whiskers is another one of his nicknames. So he's sitting in front of me, and all of a sudden this piece of pepperoni falls out of his glove on the bench. Right there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have never seen anything in my life like this before. There's pepperoni on the bench.
Well, Coach, I was going to ask you, what's the craziest thing in all years coaching that you've seen thrown on the ice? Is there anything weirder than pepperoni?
I mean, I don't think anything touches the pepperoni at this point.
Yeah.
And we're still, I think the guys are still trying to figure out exactly how this pepperoni ended up in his glove. And then
Are you like saving it for later, Liam, or what was going on there?
No, but like the thing is, the stable doesn't like sell that kind of pepperoni. So somebody brought this cold piece of pepperoni from home just so they could saucer it onto the ice.
Yeah.
But no, they think I took it out of my glove, but that is not what happened.
Something tells me that might have been an opposing team. That might have been an opposing team's fan base.
Could have been, yeah.
That might have been a pepperoni situation. Yeah, who knows? Okay, now we like to talk a little bit about your guys' hometowns. I usually do a little research. Couldn't find like any real hidden interesting facts, but I'll go to my go-to, which is the best place to eat in your respective hometowns or right around them. So, Jason, I'll start with you.
There's not really much in Holt, Michigan, but I live like 5 minutes from Lansing, and I go to this place, Cancun Grill. It's like a Mexican grill. It's like 5 minutes from my house. It's really good.
What's your go-to? What do you get when you go there?
I get a burrito.
What kind of burrito?
I change it up, but it comes with either chicken or beef, so I'll change it up every time.
Okay. No like special ingredients, nothing thrown in there that people are like, this is definitely Jason's burrito order.
No, not really. Just kind of basic.
Keep it simple.
Yep.
Liam, how about you? Favorite go-to spot, restaurant back home?
There's a spot called Permane Brothers that if you go to Pittsburgh, you have to go to.
Yeah.
And then there's a gas station called Sheetz that has like the best food around, so you can just go there, get a quick bite.
Now, what do you get there? As a gas station, we don't always relate that to great food, but what's your go-to?
I wouldn't say my go-to because they're not the healthiest, but mac and cheese bites, they're really, really good. But just anything, they have good hoagies, good pretzel sandwiches, stuff like that.
Now, I've heard quite a few players from or in or around Pittsburgh talk about Permane Brothers. What's your sandwich when you go there? What's the go-to?
It's called the Pittsburgher. It's just kind of, there's like steak, and then it has coleslaw, french fries, tomato, so really good sandwich.
Yeah, that's packed full. Now, usually I'll do a Google and a YouTube search on you guys. And Jason, I probably should have known this before, but if you search any like variation of Jason in hockey, all that turns up is just Friday the 13th stuff, like just hockey masks all over the place. You don't have anything flown out on the internet, like a video that I didn't come across, right? Anything embarrassing out on the internet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Now, Liam, how about you? I couldn't really come up with anything. Didn't find any crazy videos or anything like that.
Nope.
The thing I was going to ask you though, Liam, have you ever been confused with the boxer of the same name? There's a Liam Walsh that comes up. He used to be I think a welterweight champion. His name comes up first.
Yeah. Sometimes I've seen pictures of him, but I don't know. Hopefully one day I'll be the bigger Google name than him.
Yeah, there you go. Something to shoot for now.
Yeah.
Coach, you've been to Pittsburgh a few times. Do you have a go-to sandwich at Permanente Brothers?
Well, Tammy and I went. We stopped there one time on the way to the Jersey Shore, and we went to this Permanente Brothers, the one down. Oh, there's probably more than one downtown. I think we went to the original one, and it was it was good. It was a good spot to go to for sure.
Now, Jason, I've heard from the housing family you have a knack for breaking fans. No?
No.
You never broken? You don't know, there's no variation on that or anything?
Well, the one time I was at the Banowitz house, I ran into the fan, but it was broken before that.
Okay. All right, good cover. Well, we've heard a lot of prank stories over the years or over the season from the guys. Any memorable ones coming to mind for you guys? Jason, I'll start with you.
Not really.
No? Liam, anything coming to mind?
Not really with my billet family, but at the rink sometimes we'll just put water cups under people's gear, and so when they go to take it, it falls out on their saw. So those are pretty good.
Yeah, it seems to be a pretty common one. So we talked about nicknames. Do you guys have a personal favorite on the team amongst all the guys? Your personal favorite nickname? Liam, something coming to mind?
I feel like I come up with a ton of great nicknames for everybody.
We're your veterans, so that would make sense.
Yeah. Just looking back there, Matt Thompson goes by Beef Stick. But I don't know, there's some good ones.
What was the backstory to the Beef Stick one?
Well, he started calling me Roni, so I had to come up with something for him. So, I don't know, I just came up with Beef Stick.
Jason, anything coming to mind for you? Favorite nickname on the team?
I'd have to say Llama for Jordan Timmons. Because if you search up a picture of Llama, and there's a picture where it's the same hairstyle as Timmons. So.
Okay. Wow, that's savage. That's a harsh one. That is definitely a harsh one. Coach, do you have a favorite nickname on the team that you've either heard tossed around between the guys or something maybe you've personally come up with over the years that you hold close to heart?
A couple. This guy has lots of nicknames, but I like Frankie. Frankie has his own line. Frankie, that's Josh. And then I like the Bopsy twins because
that was a good one.
I came up. Did we talk about that one?
Yeah, I think we did.
And one of the Bopsies has the hat on right now. They got hats made, and one of them has the one on.
The custom hats.
Yeah, they're literally custom hats.
Yeah, I did hear about those. Yeah,
it's tremendous stuff.
So check those out, guys. If you haven't seen the custom hats, they're floating around. And then Tammy's throwing out something. Coach, you know what she?
Yeah, this is kind of a good one. I don't really call him it, but some guys do. But our captain, Mark McLaughlin, and this is an affectionate nickname, Gramps, because he's on top of everything, and this is a really good quality. He looks after everything, and stuff's got to be done right, and kind of like a Gramps.
Yeah. Do you guys, Liam, Jason, you guys agree with the Gramps nickname? Does that fit?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's got some other ones that fit too, but we'll save those for a different time.
Okay. Well, Liam, I'll get into another housing family related story. So I heard that your housing family went out of town for a few days, and so they had some pre-prepared meals for you guys. Hey, all you have to do is warm these up, microwave, stove, oven, anything like that. And they came back, and not a single meal had been touched because you guys couldn't quite figure out how to turn on the oven or use the microwave or anything like that. Now, I thought that sounded a little harsh, but do you want to give us some clarity to that while you're up on stage? What was going on with that situation?
Back in my younger years, I probably wasn't that great around the kitchen when I first got here. But I think that might have been my first year, my roommate Luke. And that kid, he wouldn't find his way around the kitchen, but he was driving me at the time. I had my license, so he would always be driving me around to eat. So we just, I don't know, we kind of decided to eat out that week.
Now, how about hobbies, what you guys are doing off the ice? You talked about housing families and what you guys have going on. How about activities off the ice? I'll ask you first, Jason.
Nothing special, really. Just hang out with the guys sometimes. Just hang out with the billet family, the little kids. Play Xbox once in a while, watch some Netflix.
Favorite video game, since I've asked, I think, almost every player who's been up here?
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite seems to be. Liam, how about you? Favorite video game and other activities off the ice?
I like to golf a lot. That's probably my favorite activity off the ice, but I'm a big Fortnite guy too, but only before reasonable hours for sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
Who's the best Fortnite player on the team?
Nick Granowitz.
Grano, yeah.
Okay, that's the consensus.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you get that. Like usually some guys like, nah, I am, or this other guy is, but that seems to be.
No, Walshy's not very good.
I get a lot of grief. People say I'm not very good, but if they have squads in Fortnite. You play with 4 guys. I'm a very good squad member.
Okay.
I do my job.
All right, so that's out there. That's on the air. Coach, you ever played Fortnite? You're not going to get into this one?
I have not played it. I have not.
Now, Liam, another housing family story that I wanted to incorporate. Just call it the raking leaves story. You know how I'm going with this one?
No, I don't really know where you're going.
So I heard that, you decided, hey, let's do some chores. I'll go out there and rake. But mostly it was just to take selfies to send back to your parents back home and say, hey, see, I'm helping out around the house. I'm doing chores and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you do it, you got to show that you did it,
Yeah.
If you're doing the work, somebody's got to see.
Yeah, if you don't post it, it didn't happen, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I love helping around the house.
Jason, we pretty much, we've covered some of the housing stories. Anything that I didn't bring up about the housing families that you think, needs to be out there, something about your day-to-day life that we didn't throw out?
Not really, but Chase, the youngest, he's 8 years old. He gave me a nickname. He called me Metal Mouth for a while. So
everything's kind of going back to the jaw, the injury thing. Yeah. Stuck with you. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, I've been asking all the guys up here this. I think sometimes it gets pretty interesting reactions. Most memorable moment in hockey, in your time playing hockey. Jason, I'll start on your end.
I'd have to say playing the Quebec International Tournament. It was my Pee Wee year, and we lost in the quarterfinals, but we got to play in front of 16,000 people, and being only 12 at the time, it was such a surreal moment.
Liam, how about you? Best memory, best moment in the game of hockey?
I heard somebody murmur picking up a Roni off the ice, but
that's up there,
that's
right?
That's not it, no. My midget year for Victory Honda, we were playing in the state final, Game 3, and it went to 6 overtimes. And we ended up losing, but it was like a 4.5-hour game, and it was just crazy. So that was a pretty good memory.
Now, we'll get to your guys' final thoughts here in just a few minutes as we wrap up. But I'm thinking back on the shows that we've had this season, and we've had so many crazy revelations come out because of the housing families or stuff that we just find filtered through the cracks. I mean, we had a Chewbacca impression up here. We had a Trojan grocery shopping story, which was Trojan ice cream, if no one remembers. But we had a little bit of a snafu with that. We had an unfortunate weightlifting injury that we thought was even worse than it actually was. We had a Rough Riders boy band discussed. We had karaoke night. Guys, from player standpoint, you get the benefit of being the final players up here this season. Any great stories that we didn't uncover this season, like super funny or things that are just unique? Jason, anything you can think of coming to mind?
No, I mean, that pretty much covers everything that I know of.
Liam, how about you?
Yeah, I think pretty much everything's covered. Just being up here with Jason, though, when he broke his jaw, he kind of had to talk like this for a while. So, I don't know, we had some good jokes about that, but other than that, yeah, I think everything's covered.
Did you guys have a favorite story that filtered out throughout the season, or just something that's happened that you thought was particularly memorable? Liam, anything coming to mind?
I was here to hear Sushko's Trojan story. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was a good
laugh
one.
Out of that one.
Yeah. Same with you, Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one comes to mind?
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, Coach, before we get into final thoughts, I have to ask you, I'm sure this is on everyone's mind, what's been your favorite Blazer of the season? We've had 10 shows, 10 Blazers. Has there been one that stood out? I know that you had scouting on a couple of nights, so you missed a couple of them. Have you had one that stood out really, though, throughout these weeks?
Yeah, tonight is number one right here.
Yeah, this is crazy, right? Yeah.
We've got to see that at the stable.
Yeah, I'll break this out at the stable. We might even have to break this out closing weekend. So we're going to get to the jersey giveaway here in just a few minutes, but want to give final thoughts to you guys as we head into the final 2 games of the regular season, obviously in the playoff hunt. Want to get 2 wins this weekend, of course, but Jason, final thoughts as we wrap up on this final lowdown.
I mean, we just got to stick to our game plan, just play our hardest. I mean, this team's worked so hard this whole year. I mean, with all the injuries and everything, just it'd be nice to see us come out on top, get into the playoffs.
Liam, how about you? Final thoughts overall as you look at the end of the regular season?
It's just an exciting time to be playing meaningful games this late in the season, so just to go out and give it everything we have this weekend.
And Coach, as always, I'll give you final thoughts as you head into the last 2 games of the regular season.
Sure, thanks, Coop. Well, Coop, thanks for everything. This year, a lot of 10 great shows again, so we appreciate that. And thank you to the Union Station for being great hosts and doing a great job with us. And thank you to all of our fans for coming out and supporting us, not only here on the show, but at the stable. So thank you very much.
And guys, we want to thank you. I want to go down. Like I said, I wanted to bookend the show with thank yous. I want to first and foremost thank you guys, obviously coming out each and every week. We've had great crowds. We have a great space. Thank you to the Union Station for having that. Thank you to the housing families. These shows have been entertaining this year, and a lot of that is owed to the information that I get from the housing families. We've been able to go off the path a little bit and have some pretty funny episodes. I want to thank Coach and the players, as always, for making the time for us. Rick Boots for taking the photos each and every week. And, of course, just all of you once again for showing up and making the time for us. The audio of this, our finale, will be up this weekend, so we'll post it up. And we want to thank you before we draw the jersey once again for coming out for this finale of the Lowdown on Ridertown. Get out and support the Rough Riders this weekend. Thanks, everybody. And we'll do the drawing now for the jersey. We've been registering, signing up for this throughout the whole 10 weeks, so we'll draw.
Jason,
Drum roll.
All right. We have, and I think I'm reading this correctly, Courtney Hansen. Congratulations. Team autograph jersey going to Courtney. Want to thank you once again for showing up each and every week, and thank all of you guys for supporting the Lowdown on Ridertown. Thanks, guys.